This coffee chat, which is actually a tea talk, it's a bit late in the day for that, is about why should, hang on, I need to check my notes. Why teachers need to record themselves. That might make you say, I do not need to do that. I never plan on being on YouTube. That really has nothing to do with it. You need to record yourself. Even if you're a kindergarten teacher, first grade, second grade, those kids are never going to see you if you go on YouTube, right? That part really does not matter. The reason you need to do this is because you need to see what you sound like. Not necessarily what you look like, right? And none of us like what we look like on camera. We don't like what we sound like, because when we hear our voice, we're hearing it with a bone vibration of our skull, right? And you've just got to get past that. You need to hear what you sound like. How many times are you saying, are you always staring off over this way and you're never looking at the camera or your students? I get that. A lot of people have anxiety. One of the things that I learned from working as a cashier, in retail, was that you look at the top of their ear. You never stare anyone straight in the eyes. Never, never, ever, ever. Okay. So, student engagement tip number 1, do not stare anyone in the eyeballs, straight in the eyeballs. You always look at the top of their ear, or where you think that would be if their hair is covering it up. How many you say is distracting. If you think your students are checking out after just a minute or two of you talking, it could be because you're saying too much and you don't even realize it. So recording yourself is going to help you see that. Are you making weird facial things like when you talk? Do you move your mouth in a weird way? Do you open it too much, and show a bunch of teeth? Do you not move your lips enough, right? You could have students who are partially hard of hearing who need to read your lips, but they're not at a point where it has qualified them for an IEP for that. They may not have had that caught yet. Additionally, particularly if they're quite young, that may not have been diagnosed. So you've got to keep these kind of things in mind, right? What do you do with your hands while you're teaching? Are you actually distracting the students from what you're saying by too much or too little, right? It helps you see what you look like when you're giving instruction. How you look, your personal visual interface, is the first point of contact that students have with the instruction that you are presenting. It is a huge, big deal. You can lose students there. Absolutely. One of the things that we all discovered during COVID lockdowns was how many of our students had just been checking out and not listening beforehand. It became very, very obvious when everyone started teaching on Zoom. Practicing your instructional presentations is not that difficult. You could set aside an hour once a week, block it out on your calendar, make a date with yourself. You spend 1 hour, maybe record 2 presentations, learn how to fiddle with the settings and stuff like that, right? So you can get an authentic recording. Even though you may never end up having to give a lesson over Zoom, you need to be familiar with all the settings and stuff. So you get an authentic recording of what you look like when you're giving a presentation to your class. This is going to give you such valuable insight on how your students see you. That first point of contact that they have, it's going to help you figure out how many are checking out. If you're saying a lot, you're probably losing most of your students. It's going to help you see where students who are easily distracted might be losing that point of contact in paying attention to what you're saying. And this other tip is also almost as crucial. You need to slow down how fast you're talking. The pause between the words tells the brain that that information needs to be retained. It needs to be moved from short-term to long-term memory as soon as possible. If you are talking too fast, if you don't have the pauses between the words, and absolutely at the end of your sentences, their brains are not getting the signal that, hey, this is important. We need to remember this. So if you're hearing from your students, no, I don't remember you saying that, you need to look at whether you're talking too fast and whether you're taking a pause at the end of sentences. Now, there's another technique that will help with this. I am going to do that as a short. And so when I do that short and get it uploaded, I will link it in the comments below so that you can look at that. It's a technique I was taught multiple times during my prior degrees through my education path. And apparently it is not being taught anymore, which I found incredibly shocking. It doesn't need a whole video on its own, and I don't want to put it in here and muddy up the focus of this video. So just check the comments and to see where that link is to that short, because it's an extra piece that is going to help you with what I've gone over here. Now, what do you think? Do you think, oh, hell no, I am not ever recording myself? Do you at least want to try it and see what you look like? And particularly if you are a high school or a college professor, I just cannot stress the importance of doing this. You really, at that level, high schoolers and college students, you have absolutely got to know what you look like when you're giving your presentation. You've got to hear another perspective. You've got to see it with your own eyes, the way that you're enunciating, the way that you're pausing. Are you moving too fast? Can you hear it? Are you enunciating crisply so that students in the back of the room can actually hear and pick out the words that you're saying? It doesn't always have to be somebody who's hard of hearing. Maybe you're kind of soft-spoken and they can't hear you in the back if you don't enunciate correctly. There's a lot of things that go into this, and I just can't emphasize it enough. If you want to improve the quality of your instruction, if you want to improve the engagement with your students, the fact that they're actually hearing and retaining what you are telling them, then you've just got to practice recording yourself and get comfortable doing it. It's just as important if you're a mid-career educator for you to do this, if you've never done it before, as it is for an early career educator. You may have been losing students like that for several years at least and never realized why. So I just encourage you to do it. Come back, give some feedback on how that's going. Is it working for you? And see how you can connect better with your students for the rest of academic year 26. Happy teaching. Hang in there. We are all going to be okay.